Thank you, James. Good afternoon, everyone. As James said, I will be talking to you about how CRL is planning to integrate our print preservation activities into a national shared collections network. I'm going to start with a little background on shared print programs in North America. This map, which you can find on our paper webpage, shows some of the external forces that might affect print archive facilities in North America. The data is based on historic state and provincial incident data compiled since 1953 by FEMA and the Canadian Disaster Database. The combined disasters include those that could impact archiving facilities, such as earthquakes, wildfires, floods, hurricanes, tornadoes, and volcanic activity. The various strengths of red show the environmental risks to each of these facilities. As you can see, Texas is the reddest, and so its archives are at the most risk. This is due to a high incidence of hurricanes, tornadoes, and heavy flooding in the state. Risks such as these are of less importance right now for libraries divesting of print. However, preservation for the long term implies that we consider risks such as these as part of our planning. It becomes more important as more print goes into off-site facilities and redundancy of copies is reduced. Archive programs should be thinking long-term as well as short-term. There are currently 41 print archive programs listed in CRL's paper registries. Of these programs, some have members within one city or state, while others have membership that stretches across a region and beyond. For example, the East Project has 75% of its members in New England and New York, and 25% in other eastern and southern states. Aside from housing content, these programs provide their members with access to this content. Some programs offer ILL of the print, while others offer digital delivery within 24 hours. Some are dark or dim archives, and so unavailable for access. Many of the library members involved in shared print programs participate in governance and decision-making for their program. Paying fees and participating in your program is necessary to ensure its success. Many print archive programs capture attributes like access and governance in MOUs that are signed by each participant. If your library is involved with a shared print program, I'd recommend you read your MOU. You can usually find them on the website of the shared print program, and we provide them in the paper directory if they are publicly available. If your program's MOU is not publicly available, you may be able to obtain it from your program's representative. And while you're at it, ask them why they don't make it publicly available. It helps everyone if we know the commitments of all the programs. CRL's agenda for shared print is a 10-year planning document that started in 2017. You can find it on our website. The agenda is the result of discussions at CRL's April 2016 Collections Forum, At-Risk Stewardship, Due Diligence, and the Future of Print, as well as talks with individuals at libraries, universities, and funding agencies. These consultations highlighted the need for prompt and decisive action by CRL to ensure survival of print collections for North American libraries. Our first goal is to shift the burden of preserving the critical corpus of print journals from individual libraries to the collective by 2026. This goal helps our members to radically reduce and redistribute the costs of maintaining separate print collections while generating new benefits for North American scholars and libraries. These benefits include faster delivery options for unique and rare information, as well as trustworthy preservation for print and digital materials. In our May 2018 annual meeting, we held a moderated discussion of CRL's 8th decade strategies. In this meeting, you told us that yes, we want CRL to continue as a facility that preserves print. And you also said yes, keep archiving less common materials, those that are in the long tail of academic collections, rather than what is common and available through other programs, libraries, and online tools. Also at the annual meeting, you told us you want CRL to act as a national platform to move shared print initiatives beyond small measures and isolated regional efforts. Perhaps even convening a constitutional convention on shared print. We intend to do our best to help link and coordinate print archive efforts across all of the regions in which our members reside. So what does CRL plan to do? We will remain an archive of record. This means our facility will continue to hold collections that have been gathered and grown by CRL since 1949. Our collections will continue to be low-use, uncommon information for scholarly research purposes, the same as always. and we will make sure our content is cataloged and easy to request. We will continue to lend entire microfilm sets or digitize and deliver content as your scholars need it. We continue to keep our facility in good condition, with necessary fixes like a new roof or an elevator upgrade, whatever is needed to keep the building optimal for preservation of print. However, the CRL shelves are now 85% full, and so taking in new content must be considered carefully. We are currently thinking about microfilm. This is because microfilm has a smaller footprint, and that means more information per square foot. We know nobody likes microfilm, but there is some rare and scholarly material reformatted from print on microfilm, and we can store more of it. As we discussed in our quarterly webinar in March, we have received a small planning grant from the NEH to look at the metadata and other information about journals reformatted from print to microfilm and digital. This work will help us to determine the practicalities of acquiring and maintaining high-quality microfilm for journals that are not well preserved through other print archive programs. Journals such as those identified in CRL's Critical Corpus list, which I will discuss on the next slide. CRL wants to be a national resource for print archive programs. Many of our members are already participating in print archive programs, and we don't want to duplicate these efforts. Instead, we want to help programs help you by providing useful services for the shared print community. We created paper as a tool for providing information about journal titles archived in shared print programs. Paper is available for free on the web and can be used by anyone. We are focused on journal-related printing materials because it is the most difficult. This is because there is a lack of good historical metadata for older journals. This means we don't always know what a complete journal run is for a title, and so don't always know what is missing from a journal run. Equally difficult is that many libraries do not know how complete their journal runs are, and if they are in good condition. Metadata is key for long-term preservation, and we need to know down to the issue what has been preserved. Also important is our data normalization and analysis services. We work with programs to normalize their data and in some cases provide them with local holdings records to save them time. Once normalized, we can provide a variety of data analysis options for libraries and shared print programs. These include comparisons of titles with those of other programs or local institutional holdings. In most cases, our reports are used to identify titles to be preserved and those to be weeded. We have worked with Scholars Trust, the University of California, BTAA, and EAST. CRL was recently included in a grant received by RECAP to help them with their data needs. And finally, we have developed a list we call the Critical Corpus. This is a list of humanities and social science journals that are at risk. The list was compiled from 17 libraries and those in paper. Collections were compiled and compared, and from these, a list of 2.5 million records was found. We think using the combined collections of libraries of record for this work is a strong foundation for our list. The list is solidly rooted in a series of practical decisions made by librarians and scholars over a long period of time. And so the list will help illuminate the appropriate levels of service, transparency, and care of a shared print collection. From the records, we found 462,849 unique titles, with only 29% of these titles in a trustworthy digital repository, and only 8.5% with at least one copy registered in paper. These findings show a significant gap between what has and has not been preserved for scholarly journals. We intend to augment this list, adding titles for more libraries in order to make our list as comprehensive as possible. CRL intends to ensure that all the titles on this list are preserved by 2026 as we piece together what has been preserved in shared print programs, trusted digital repositories, and libraries of records. CRL works with the North American Print Archive community to provide services for shared print participants. Recently, CRL staff began working with OCLC on a Mellon Foundation grant to create the underlying infrastructure for shared print serials management. This infrastructure will utilize OCLC's WorldCat database and CRL's experience building the Print Archives Preservation Registry, otherwise known as PAPER. CRL staff will work with OCLC and the Print Archive community to provide access to actionable data that can be used for decision-making and commitments. CRL and the print archive community will work together to define the future needs of our community and express these to OCLC, who can then build the right tools for the future. We know there is a great deal of interest in this grant because it involves OCLC, and we will be having a webinar about our role in the grant with OCLC next Tuesday, July 31st at 1 p.m. If you're interested in attending, please send me an email and I will add you to the list. The webinar will be mainly a question and answer session, and we hope to begin to accumulate the concerns and intentions of those involved in shared print. Also, CRL coordinates the Print Archive Network, or otherwise known as PAN Forum, on the Friday before ALA Annual and Midwinter. PAN is open to anyone with an interest in shared print. Recent topics have included exploring data about print access to shared collections, validation of archiving shared print, and tools for shared print programs. CRL also provides an archive of past meetings and a listserv for consistent communication throughout the year. The PAN archive marks the progress of all the shared print program efforts and helps those new to print preservation to catch up and understand the evolution of this important stage in library history. So as I have hopefully communicated, CRL continues to move toward being a national platform that moves shared print initiatives beyond small measures and isolated regional efforts. However, CRL cannot archive alone. There is too much that needs to be done. We continue to seek partnerships with stable knowledge institutions with a history of preservation. The partnerships we have with Linda Hall Library and LLMC are useful to our members. Through Linda Hall, we delivered 11,021 requests in fiscal year 2018. And we recently completed a 6-year project to digitize U.S. state legislative journals for all 50 states with LLMC. We need more partnerships like these, institutions with rich content held in sound institutions that can provide speedy digital delivery while preserving the print and digital for future users. CRL will continue to invest in print sharing efforts that combine preservation and strategic collection development, identifying and assembling secure and well-curated serial collections, and working to improve their quality, integrity, and comprehensiveness. Thank you. So if there's questions, I'm happy to answer them. So my email, somebody asked for my email, is mwaltz, Waltz like the dance, W-A-L-T-Z, at crl.edu. Another question has come in. What does CRL intend to do with paper for the long term? CRL intends to expand paper to include more programs, more information. We recently included the Rosemont Group in paper. It wasn't originally set up to do that sort of a program, but we've made some alterations to paper and have now included it. So we want to continue to grow paper and to make it openly available to people on the web so that it's an alternative for those who may not have access to OCLC or other shared print tools that are available. Okay, we have another question. Is the PAN Forum open to everyone? I would like to attend. The answer is yes, the PAN Forum is open to everybody. We don't require anybody to sign in or anything at this point. We do want people to come who are new. We don't necessarily want the same people only. Please, anybody who's interested in PAN, just try it. Come sometime and see what it's all about. We have a question. Would you be willing to share your slides or flip black one? I was copying down information and the slide moved forward.
On YouTube.
Oh yeah, so it's going to be available on our YouTube channel in probably in a week or so.
We'll send out an announcement.
Yeah, and we'll send out an announcement for that. So, okay. Thanks very much, everybody.